Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by our superintendent, Mr. Hime. Good day.
Hey, it's great day to be at LPS.
It is feeling good out there. That weather is phenomenal.
Is it not crazy? How nice it is right now. We're sitting here right about October, and it is nice weather.
I hope it stays around longer than 2 weeks. We had some rain, and looks like we have a little bit more. But
I like the cool evenings, and I like for it not to be 100 degrees, but I'm not looking for 30 degrees yet either. So
neither am I.
I'm excited with the weather, and in Oklahoma, you take every great day, calm, no winds you get. So it's been great.
We have some great things to talk about, and we're going to just first update the community about our COVID numbers and what it looks like and how it's going with the district. So please share.
Statewide, and there's always a lot of factors. 3 weeks ago when we had this, we talked about putting a mask mandate in, and we weren't excited about it, but we knew we needed to do something. A lot of numbers were going up. Our numbers here at the school were going up. We were getting over, we were at 2 or 3% district-wide students and staff. Since then, our numbers have really dropped off, and the masks are a factor. I'm not going to be the guy that sit here and argues back and forth with a mask is what caused the number. But right now, our numbers are below 1% student, below 1% staff. Phenomenal numbers when I talk to superintendents across the state. And again, that's a shout out to the students, the parents, the people. We're keeping kids home when they're sick. We're washing our hands like we should. We're social distancing when we can. We're wearing a mask and doing some of the things we need to do. And people are getting vaccinated. So, a big shout out to the community of Lawton and our students. I think right now we have the update's 24 students positive, out of 14,000 plus. That's a phenomenal number. That's less than 0.5%. And we have 5 staff members out of 2,000 plus staff members. And, you can do the math there. Again, that's less than 0.5%. So we're very, you're probably 0.25%. It's just 99% of us are right now free and not positive. So we're excited about that, and that's a shout out to the people in working hard to fight as a team the COVID.
And we've had some questions regarding the booster, the approval of that. When it's available for under 65, we'll have another clinic, correct?
Yes, we'll do the thing and have a clinic. They did the Pfizer. The thing is, most of our clinics and most of our staff members took Moderna. So as soon as they say that Moderna could be any day, and our ultimate goal would be, again, we'll have a discussion with our district leadership and also with the board president and some of those people, make sure we're all on the same page. But the ultimate goal would be is to call a virtual day if there's not a virtual day in that area, and do everyone at one time on a Friday. So if people have reactions, it doesn't overload us on subs, because, again, that's probably our next conversation. We can't find subs. We can't find bus drivers, and you can.
PCAs, we have several
I don't want to do
openings.
your part of the show,
Sure, go ahead.
We just kind of move right into it. But, so we're almost forced to have a clinic to try to keep it where we don't get overloaded, because the understanding is they just need a day to rest and recover. It's not major reactions to the third shot, but from what I'm hearing is people they're just not 100%. And so it'd be great if we did it on a Friday to give our staff 2 days to recover, so we'd be ready to go on a Monday.
And we will let our community members know and families know if we put a virtual day out for a clinic. It's just not happening right now.
Yeah, we'd definitely do our best to give a 2-week notice, or at least over a week notice, and we'd do it on a Friday. So
speaking of notices, we are sharing our podcast a little early this week because we're doing something regarding our strategic plan. Would you share what that looks like and why it's important?
Well, I have this conversation, but I got hired, and please don't blame me for this, but I got hired almost 2 years ago in December. So December of 19 is when the board hired me. And one of the things we talked about was when you get hired as a superintendent, I have my ideas, my goals, but you want to gather information from the community, from the staff, from the parents, from everybody to see, hey, what does everyone – I don't own Lawton Public Schools. What does our community and staff and parents, what do they want the school to look like in 5 years? What do they want it to look like in 10 years? What do they want to look at it in 15 years? And, what research-based things are we looking at to get there? So the first thing you have to do is find somebody to do a strategic plan. And the bottom line is you want to get a research-based company that's going to do research, take your data, put it together, and tell you what people are saying. And you really don't want to have input yourself, because we have input every day, even yourself and our other district leaders. So we hired the K-20 Center out of University of Oklahoma and their research staff. So the OSSBA helps facilitate it, so it's kind of a partnership, but the research is done by the K-20 Center. So they're running a survey. You and I do not get to see the inputs in the surveys. The only thing we'll get are the outputs. We'll get what the data says from the K-22. But so please fill out the survey. So I just can't fill that out. They might look. I can't tell. First of all, I'll never know who filled it out. Second of all, I'll never see an individual survey form. I will only see the input that the outputs that the researchers say that the accumulation of 5,000 surveys say. Second of all, then we'll have community forums, and in those community forums, it's the same way. I won't even attend the forums. And a lot of time we'll keep a lot of our leadership out of the forums. There'll be staff forums because again, I get to put my input in what I want Lawton Public Schools every day. I do that every day. We as a district, myself, the board, the district leadership, and our staff, we all need to get that goal so we all can see where everybody wants to be. I don't own the school. We want to know where we want to be 5 years from now. So that's kind of the thing, and you can kind of share with them when some of these things are going to happen because it's right here on top of us. But we're really excited about gathering as much data with as much input as we can get.
And the team will be here tomorrow and Friday. Our elementaries and middle schools are set up, and our high schools as well, and those times will be shared with your principal, and your principal will push that out. For the staff that can't get to the forums, we're going to make it available virtual as well in some of those meetings. Not every meeting will be virtual, but we'll try to time them out, and that will be pushed out as well. But we'll have community forums as well on Thursday night at 5:30 at the LRC for anybody that can make it. And for those of you that can't make it in the evening or on Friday that we push out, we will have another day in October that we'll send out tomorrow to let them know and mark their calendars. It happened fast because the team is booked with other districts. So we know we have Thursday and Friday of this week, and that information is getting shared out.
Well, in 3 weeks ago, prior to putting out the mask mandate, again, not trying to give the mask mandate credit, but the timing of it was our numbers were going up, so we couldn't make serious plans with our numbers going up to host these forums. And they need to be forums. People need to feel like they're engaged. And now that our numbers have dropped,
fell off a little bit.
They fell off greatly. Knock on wood. We feel comfortable doing these forums and giving people the opportunity. Again, they want to do them virtually because we don't want everyone doesn't feel comfortable in a forum. We still want to give you a way to input, so you can still do the survey. It's online. You can in some cases there will be some forums you can attend virtually, so that we can get your input and get your thoughts. And then the more data the researchers have, the more accurate what they put out and give us. And then after they give it to us, we'll have a lot of community meetings. We'll create teams and goal areas, and they'll create teams and create goals under the goal areas. And again, this is all done by a staff member, a parent, a community member. We even include students in it.
Yes.
This is not just after this original data is given to the research team and they're given outputs for it. Then we go through that data and have more in-depth discussions about where we want to go, so that it doesn't end here. And again, my role as the superintendent is to facilitate, not put my data doesn't need to go into it, because this is about what the community, the staff, and the parents want their school to look like in 2030.
And a reminder to those that do attend the forums in person, bring a tablet or a smartphone with internet connection, because you're going to have some engagement with the staff that present the information.
Correct.
Another thing that was brought up, and we just want to remind families as the date comes closer, we've had some questions about the parent-teacher conference, the October 11th. Will you remind families that that is not a day?
That's the day on the calendar in lieu, because our teachers, again, if a few years ago, we used to always get 2 days a year for parent-teacher conferences. They changed it to 12 hours when we went hours today, and that's getting really deep into the weeds of what goes on. Well, last year, with the COVID, we created flexibility, especially in our secondary, and said, hey, you guys could do a couple nights for your 6 hours, because we do 6 hours in the fall and 6 hours in the spring. And then you can do some parent contacts, some Zooms, and different things. And our secondary leadership, when they came back, they said we had more engagement with our parents doing it this way than we did just doing it one day because of the time. So we're giving our principals that flexibility to work with their teachers, have a couple nights, maybe 4 to 7 type times, 3 to 6, where they get 3 hours in and then do some engagement there. So that's a building by building thing, and the ideal is that they're not all at the same time. So if there's a child in 3 different buildings, they don't have all 3 parent-teacher conferences at the same time. So that should be each building principal's working on that.
But October 11th is a day off.
It says no school on there, but it is a day off for our staff. It was never a contracted day for our support employees, and make sure our certified employees know that's going to be their day off for the 6 hours they work sometime before that day to get that parent-teacher to conference day in the schedule.
Okay, and as we prepare to end our podcast, what kind of celebrations would you like to recognize?
Man, at the board meeting, we recognized the Healthy Fit Schools. We had quite a few of those. That was awesome. We had 4 National Merit winners we recognized.
The semifinalists, yes. We'll find out at the end of the school year.
Yes, but that's still exciting. And then we had 2 National PTA winners, which is 3 National PTA. Wow, it's just awesome to think that we had our students in our PTA become national winners. And I think this is the first time Lawton's ever had multiple winners
nationally,
and so that's so exciting, and big congratulations. They can watch that board meeting online, right?
Yes, sir. It's on our LPS TV YouTube page, so and all kinds of great things are on there as well. If you want to find all that information and see those students get their awards in the schools, hey, feel free to tune in and watch that board meeting. We try to get a lot of information in a quick amount of time at our board meetings. And just a reminder, we are looking for additional staff members. We mentioned it earlier, PCAs, support staff, classroom size assistants,
bus drivers,
cooks. If you're looking for an opportunity to work with the district and make a positive impact, sir, give them our website.
Yep, first of all, our website is lawtonps.org. And then our email address is info@lawtonps.org. So you can contact that website if you have questions. The other thing we always say is when you get on our website, if you don't find that information you need, send an email. We'll work at it. Because, again, we have a lot of information on our website. And so, I'm that guy that I wish everything could be one click away. Well, that's just not possible. So we try to keep it as few clicks as possible so you can find what you're looking for. So we're excited about that.
Thank you, Mr. Hime. I appreciate your time to share great news and to share information for our families. Thank you guys for joining us. Yes, sir.
One last thing. We talk about this, but we can't say it enough. Last year at this time, we had about 7,500 in-person students. We got about 13,500. So we almost doubled in in-person students. We want class size assistants. We've still been hiring teachers to try to get our class sizes down. If a class size is bigger than what we want it to be, it's about hiring people. It's not a financial issue. It's not even a space issue. But we're continuing to look for staff members to at least the teacher's assistants were the class size assistants, as you said. But, I can't say it enough. We're going on 2 years ago that I was hired to work. How lucky I am to work with such incredible people, from the bus drivers, the cooks, the custodians, the teachers, the district leadership, the principals, the administration, because we've been through 2 years of COVID. We went from one flexible way of all of a sudden we had 5,000 kids virtual and 7,000 in the classroom. Now we're back to less than 1,000 kids virtual and almost 14,000 students walking the hallways. And just to go back and forth like that and make it work and pull that rope in the same direction, 99.99% of our staff works together to create great opportunities for our students. And again, I just got to shout out to our staff members for the great job they've done through these last 18 months of COVID and stress that it puts on us. So again, shout out to you for creating opportunities for the students at Lawton Public Schools.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. They are phenomenal. We have a phenomenal family community and group of kids. I just can't wait for the students to come in here and start working with you. You might not need me much longer.
Oh, no.
All right. Mr. Hime, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, guys. Until next week, have a wonderful week and then weekend. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.